massive super chat from Peter.
Oh my goodness. Peter with the $9.99 super chat. Holy cow. Dude, did you see he gave us a $50?
He's out of control.
Another one? What's Peter's latest super chat? Peter, $100 again.
Peter, you have a logo? We'll put it on the top right of our show.
He's buying ad space. Somebody said Peter Football Focus.
Yeah, welcome to the NFL Stock Exchange podcast presented by Peter.
Welcome to the opening bell of the NFL Stock Exchange podcast. I'm Trevor Sikkema. That's Connor Rogers. We told our producer, Tyler Cook, that we did not want to see the cold open before it dropped. We wanted to experience that with all of the addicts for the first time. And he cooked. He cooked, as we say around here. That was incredible. Shout out to everybody who is joining the chat. Shout out to Peter, official sponsor of the show here, as you guys saw there from the cold open. It's Power Ranking episode. It's Power Ranking Monday. We're going through our Power Rankings, updating all 32 teams in the NFL. I'll give you my top 32. Connor's going to give you his top 32. We're going to talk about some of the movement because we haven't done this in a couple of weeks because we did a mock last week. So the movement up and down for all 32 teams. We'll, of course, give you the buy or sell on the updated over-under win totals for all of these teams. Connor, reluctantly, how you doing, my friend?
Alive and well, man. Just here on the Peter Stock Exchange. Ready
Another
to rock
day in paradise.
Another day in paradise. I love the just glancing over to the chat and seeing from Owen. Brian Bumahan finally gone. Just a ridiculous way to start the show.
Speaking of,
right? Good tease.
I was gonna kind of wait until we kick things off because spoiler alert, the Titans are last in my power rankings, but the Titans have fired Brian Callahan. And anybody who has listened to this podcast for the greater part of a year or more, you guys know what that means. The weather's turning around.
Oh.
You're lighting the candles. Coaches are getting fired. Halloween stuff is coming out. And it means it's time for Fix Your Franchise. Now, we're not doing Fix Your Franchise here on this very episode, but 1 week from today, live at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, we will have the first edition of Fix Your Franchise here for this season. And we will be once again trying our very best to fix the Tennessee Titans. So we are going to be doing that next Monday, Connor. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, it's one of the best things that we do, or things we enjoy doing the most. We go so in depth on those, and it's kind of our way. It's a little early to just completely turn the page for some teams on draft season, but that's probably why you're here. But it's our way of truly committing to the basement of the NFL. We are here for you. Everybody else is talking about who the Super Bowl contenders are. We're talking about the teams that are in the most dire need of help. So I love it. And we already had a couple teams beyond the Titans that we're talking about doing. So everybody stick with us. We got a super chat here from Andrew, who said, I know this is an NFL episode, but have you looked at, is that Ephesians?
Ephesians price.
Ephesians.
Yes.
Ephesians. Obviously, I have not. I have watched Washington because we have a lot of Big Ten, but I haven't watched his actual all 22 yet. So that is a name I will be writing down. What a name that is. Ephesians Prize Sock. He sounds like a
biblical name. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. 100%. All that's the
opposite of DeRealist Clark. That's what that is. That is the polar opposite of DeRealist.
Or the coldest to ever do it, Crawford. Where is he now? Where is he now?
I don't know, but man, he's the best. The coldest Crawford.
We got to check on the coldest to ever do it, Crawford, or whoever it was. Somebody in the chat, let us know where he is, because he was at a certain school, but I think
he was at Louisiana Tech.
He was, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the last. He was at Nebraska, then he was at Louisiana Tech. I don't know if he's still playing college football. I don't see.
That'd be a shame.
He has 2 catches for 17. Yeah, no, he's not. He didn't play last year either. I don't know what's going on with the coldest.
We need to look into this. We need to get Peter on it and boost up the stock. That's what we need to do. Insunity's already in the chat saying, I just want to point out that the last time we were here, which is 2 weeks ago, Trevor was selling the Carolina Panthers stock. Well, sir, are you still selling? And then hashtag in all caps, keep pounding. We'll see. We'll see where the Carolina Panthers are on my power ranking. But Connor, we got a lot of teams to get to. We got a lot of fun conversations to have.
They're running into Aaron Glenn's Jets this weekend, so let's settle down, okay? If there's anything that can kill a hot streak, it's Aaron Glenn's New York Football Jets. So everybody in the chat, relax.
What a beautiful way to start things off, because if you're new around here for the power rankings, what we do is we'll go through in increments of 8, because that is, divisible in quarters by 32. And it's a good way to make sure that we get the appropriate number of teams on the graphic for our friend Tyler behind the scenes. And we will give you a buy or sell or hold on certain teams. So it's sort of how we're talking about teams, and we've got the updated over-under win totals. And to be honest with you, Connor, there's less buying and selling going on at this point of the year, just because Vegas is obviously starting to lock in on like how teams are. But I still think it's a decent way to talk about teams if we've got any teams that we're really buying or selling outside of just the 1 through 32 ranking. So I will let you kick it off here, because you just brought up the Jets. We got to talk about the Jets, and you have moved the Jets to dead last in your rankings. You have moved them behind the team that just fired their head coach.
It doesn't have a coach. The Jets might have been better without a coach in London. I mean, if anyone in the stands had the power to put Tyrod Taylor in that game, the Jets would be 1-5. But they didn't, so they're 0-6. You are what your record says you are. It is inexplicable that the Jets are 0-6. They handed the game to the Steelers that they should have won. They handed the game to the Dolphins that they should have won. And they handed the game to the Broncos that they should have won. I would take one of the three. They got none of the three. The Titans, who just fired their head coach, they look quite awful, to be honest with you, although I still really like Cam Ward. I don't think it's his fault. I thought J.C. Latham had a really tough day yesterday. They are at 31. At 30, the Miami Dolphins, who I think are next to not have a head coach. They are just, their run defense is inexplicably bad. Tua is saying, we're trying to find the guy who did this at the podium. Tua, you wear the C on your chest. It's
Dude,
probably you.
That's actually just hitting the nail on the head.
I couldn't believe what I was hearing.
It's the we're all trying to find out who did this meme. I can't believe that you just said that for how spot on it is for what we saw from Tua.
Insanity. Right. Insanity from Tua. 29, the Browns, who are 1-5, but I think like the biggest pest of a 1-5 team. Well, actually, no, they're the second biggest pest of a 1-5 team, because I have a 1-5 team a couple spots north of this.
Right.
They're just very limited with what they could do with Dylan Gabriel right now. But that was the choice they made in the third round. Let's see if he can grow. 28, the Raiders, who are 2-4. It's an ugly 2-4, but you still see the talent that front seven has, especially against a bad team like the Titans. The Bengals at 27. I mean, good for Jamar Chase that Joe Flacco is there, but their problems are still the same. They can't run the ball. The defense has a lot of different issues, and they lost Joe Burrow for the year. So it's just a really tough year for Cincinnati. 26, the New Orleans Saints at 1-5. They are the biggest pest of a 1-5 team. Spencer Rattler is playing fine right now. There's good things about this team. There really is. They have skill talent. The offensive line is young, but you hope it can continue to grow. I'm impressed with what Rattler and Kellen Moore have done together, considering the cards they've been dealt, that their win total was 4.5 before the season. I think they're better than a couple of teams that have more wins than them or the same record. But the team and let me get to some super chats. The Giants are at 25. I'm going to talk about the New York Giants, so we'll get there in just a second. Moof, thank you for the super chat. Jets in 2018, handshake with Jets in 2026. Drafting number 14 from USC to be the face of the franchise.
A little Jaden Mayava love, who I need to watch this week before we end up doing stock up on Wednesday, because he's been a name that's popped up in some first round of some mock drafts. I don't feel like I've seen first round from Jaden Mayava, right, but I'll go back and I'll watch the tape, and we will definitely talk about Jaden Mayava, the quarterback from USC. In the Stock Watch episode that we have later this week.
Yes. So that was our game on Big Ten Saturday night. So I was very, very dialed into that game. Mayava has done a lot of impressive things from the pocket this year. I'm with you, Trevor. I'm not ready to talk about him in the first round just yet. I'm going to have a tape breakdown on that offense this week for NBC, mostly on Mekhi Lemon, but obviously you will see Mayava throwing him the football. That USC offense is wild to watch. Very explosive. Tony Lee, thank you for the super chat, Tony. I've watched every Jets game this year. 32 isn't low enough.
No, hold on. So on top of this, an Arctic team was in the chat and he goes, Jets deserve to be 32. And then mere minutes later, Texan says, Jets should be 33. So we just keep going further down.
The 33rd team that Mike Tannenbaum owns and operates should be 32. The Jets should be 33. So the 33rd team is now the 32nd team. The Jets are the 33rd team who operated their coaching and GM search.
Let's give it up for Mike Tannenbaum. He moved from the 33rd team. Now they are the 32nd team because the Jets are technically the 33rd team in the NFL. Shout out Mike Tannenbaum.
Shout it out to him. Preston, thank you for the super chat. Tyler should combine y'all's rankings together at the end. You read out the official NFLSC weekly power ranking. Also fire McDaniel and bench Tua.
Now that would require math on this show, and you guys know that we're not good at that. We can't be doing that.
If you've been here long enough, you've seen us do it. We used to do a combined big board, and it was just Trevor and I putting our brains together, counting and doing math on a show for like 95% of the shows. Not the best. Anyways.
What's the difference? 41 and 63.
That was the podcast.
That really was. It was terrible. Yeah.
So the Giants at 25, Trevor, new energy for the New York Giants, led by Jackson Dart, who I thought played some of his best football I've ever seen him play against the Eagles. Some of the throws he was making. Obviously, Cam Scattaboo is just a battering ram. His energy. I mean, this team is now punching in touchdowns. Andrew Thomas is a massive difference when he's healthy. I am very excited about what I see from the New York Giants, but the combo that I want to talk about, or I wanted to tee you up on, is the Giants have a fascinating decision that's going to play out for the next couple months. We don't need to decide this today, but with these guys, Dart and Scattaboo, helping their offense turn the corner a little bit, it's going to be fascinating to see if they think Brian Daboll is the guy to lead the charge forward with the contract extension. It really, really is, because I think Dart looks more ready than I expected him to be. I thought he would need more time, and I think Daboll deserves credit for that. There's also a weird part of me, though, Trevor, that has been a story from this game, that the Giants need to be a little careful this year. In a season where you're not going to the playoffs, that, watch some of the hits these guys are in position to take. Now, they do it to them.
They're battering rams.
Yeah, and Scattaboo, that's who he is. That's not really you can't change who Cam Scattaboo is. Some of the
he's bashing his head against the wall pre-game, just to feel something.
This is who Scattaboo is. Some of the runs they called for Dart when the game was essentially almost over is the time where I'm like, all right, I understand Brian Daboll's coaching for his job, and how Jackson Dart performs is a big reflection of what that decision will come down to. But the Giants have a lot of hope here with Jackson Dart. And I don't have the exact answer, and I'm curious what Giants fans think if Daboll is the answer going forward. But I think they need to be very, very careful with their young quarterback and trying to rush him back into that game in the blue tent situation when he's already had to come out of a couple of games this year.
Right.
It's just one of those situations where I'm happy for the Giants right now, but it's also a season where it's like, when to hit the brakes a little bit and protect a young player from himself at times too.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited about the potential that the Giants have. I think their defensive line could be really stout. I think they've got good players in the secondary. I know Tyler Newman struggled a little bit, but having Drew Phillips and Javon Holland and those guys in the secondary, I think are great. Deonte Banks, I had high hopes for, but I just don't know if he's going to be a starting corner in the NFL in New York because it's been so up and down for them. But they seem to have a really stout defense, and it really was just all about the offense. And Dalton Wasserman has done a good job pointing this out on the PFF NFL show, that Daboll is basically just taken the 2022 playbook where they had a bunch of success and they made the playoffs with Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. And he's basically just taken it off the shelf and dusted it off and saying, we're just going to run power again. We're just going to run in between the tackles with Scattaboo. We're going to run RPOs with Dart and having him as this rushing threat. And remember, we talked about this last year when Anthony Richardson got benched. We're like, oh, what are destinations for Anthony Richardson? And me and you and a lot of other people were sometimes like, just send him to New York. Like obviously it wasn't going well in New York when Daniel Jones was still there and his last year there. And it's like, dude, just send him to New York and give Dable a different kind of rushing quarterback. And that's kind of what Dart is right now. And the way that they are able to run power concepts, I think this year just leans so much more into the way that they constructed their offensive line. Because I wonder if that was an issue for them. I don't have the numbers in front of me right now, but when they drafted Tyrone Tracy and when Tyrone Tracy kind of like became their best running back on the team, Tracy like can run between the tackles, but you love Tyrone Tracy in that draft. What he's best at is being in space, is like being an athlete, like making guys
a wide receiver.
And in order to do that, you have to run mid and outside zone, and you have to run like toss plays and stretch plays and things like that. And so you've got to be able to get out to the sideline and in space. And I don't know if the Giants had the offensive line for that last year. So this year, they're sort of allowed to lean more into what Brian Daboll actually wants to do from a standpoint of running between the tackles, having the offensive line to do that, having a legit rushing threat, again, with Jackson Dart's athleticism, and then having Cam Scadaboo, who's not afraid to run through a brick wall quite literally for you. So I just feel as though Daboll has the players finally that he really wants. So I agree with you. I think that it's an interesting conversation that they are going to have if the Giants end up, because the over-under right now is 5.5. If the Giants win 5-6 games, I don't know if they fire him. I'm very curious as to whether or not Giants fans think like, no. He's got to be gone or something like that. But like, I've been a Brian Daboll fan, so I feel like my leash for him, if you will, is going to be way longer than other people's is. So maybe I'm just kind of crazy on this, but I wouldn't be so quick to give up on Brian Daboll if he's able to make some magic happen here with Jackson Dart, especially in Jackson Dart's first year in the NFL.
Yeah, and there's a really good comment here from Locked On Gators who said, Giants fan, they're a Giants fan. Daboll's still not the answer until he changes. Running Dart late was idiotic. I agree. That's kind of what sparked this combo. But this is the most important part. He needs to have a higher floor as a coach. When things aren't going well, he doesn't respond well. So that's it. And the Giants now have the rest of the season to see, because I think the argument pro Daboll has always been, well, the ingredients he's been given aren't good enough that we don't know what he is. Now it seems like the ingredients are good enough, and they lost Malik Neighbors, but everybody's losing somebody, and it's a tougher one than most to lose. Good enough to show what you are, and I think it's going really well right now. But you just have to wonder if it's sustainable and if he looks out for his young quarterback that, you know, I love watching Dart play, but I just get a little worried every time he launches himself into a defender or takes a hit on a play call where I'm like, you didn't need to run him there. The Giants are maybe the Giants are, because I'm talking about them. Giants to me are the most interesting team in my bottom fourth of the NFL right now.
Yeah, I think I would agree that the Giants are one of the most interesting sort of like bottom 8 teams that we have that we're going to talk about here. There's some Giants fans in the chat who are like, no, we don't like them. I see some fans that are saying like, no, like you got to keep them, especially if the chemistry is good between Dart. It's a great point by Brandon Olson, who's running the Locked On Gators account there as he's commented. He does a great job covering the Florida Gators, covering the Giants as well. Brandon's a good dude. And it's a really great point on, hey, things are kind of going well for the Giants right now. Let's wait. Let's give it a little bit of time. What happens when it's not going so well? Can they bounce back? Things like that. So I think that's a really good point. And I think that is the point that we need to emphasize here. We got a $2 super chat that's saying it's time to talk about the Arizona Cardinals drafting a quarterback. We are going to talk about the Arizona Cardinals very soon here. We're gonna talk about that. And then Peter out here, Peter's buying the NFLSE yacht at this point.
Well, if he's sponsoring the show, so we appreciate the invoice. True.
We did have the logo up there, so this is all sponsored by Peter, and he in fact says for another $99 super chat here, unbelievable, Peter. Says, here's my contribution to Trevor's electricity bill, hand sanitizer for Trevor as well, Uncrustables for Connor, and the NFLSE yacht. When are we going to have the discussion about Ty Simpson being the number 1 overall quarterback off the board and potentially the pick for the Jets? we are going to talk about Ty Simpson on the Wednesday stock watch
Right.
episode.
Quarterback combo to kick the show off.
Yeah, we will.
And he was in our big boards, Trevor. He was both in our new top 50s.
He was. And in the mock draft episode a week ago, I had him going 14th to the Rams. And so he's sort of been in that conversation for us for a while, but another really great showing on the road in Missouri. Had some back against the wall, fantastic throws. He looks awesome. And so we're going to have to continue to have that conversation with him. But Peter, I promise we will get that question answered on the Wednesday show for everybody out there. Let's go on to my 8, because it's a lot of the same guys, and we'll sort of just talk about the next names that are coming up. I still have the Tennessee Titans at number 32. I still think that this is the worst team in the NFL. I think the New York Jets, if they want to, could beat the Tennessee Titans, but if they don't feel like winning, then obviously they won't.
We're going to pass.
We need to talk about the Jets a little bit deeper in a second, but I have the Titans at number 32. We're going to take a deep dive into the Tennessee Titans now that they have fired their head coach, Brian Callahan. It has been a very swift anchored drop to the bottom for that era with the Titans. And Connor, you know what makes this so much worse? You know who comes to town next week to Tennessee?
Oh, I'm aware. Mr. Vrabes?
It's in Mike Vrabel.
Whose team is rolling right now.
Who you fired, who you moved on from. His replacement has already been fired in Tennessee, and he is rolling with one of the hottest young quarterbacks in the NFL sitting at 4-2. It could not get worse. I don't know if there is a worse version of seeing your ex in the game of football.
This is absolutely Omar from The Wire walking down with the sawed-off whistling, and you can all yell that Mike Vrabel's coming, but you can't hide.
I don't know what the over/under is, or I don't know what the spread is for that game. I'm taking the Patriots. I don't know what the spread is.
Could be 34.5.
I would take the Patriots. I would take the Patriots.
Test me, DraftKings. Make it 51.5 and watch what I do. Watch what I do.
I won't even blink.
Yeah.
I won't even look at the phone. I'll know exactly where it is. I'll know exactly where I need to scroll to make that bet. So I have the Titans at 32. We'll talk about them a lot more when we do Fix Your Franchise a week from now. I have the Jets at number 31. I have the Miami Dolphins at 30. I agree with you. I think that those are the bottom 3 teams in the NFL. We have the Cleveland Browns.
Look at this.
At 29. We have the Bengals and the Raiders basically just flipped at 27 and 28. And then we got the
same 8 teams.
Same 8 teams. Just flipped a little bit.
And I could have had the same. I'm with you with the Saints over the Giants because the Saints beat them. But
right.
Like that's not crazy at all. It's the same 8. I guess as the season goes on, the picture does become more clear. But I'm surprised. Yes, there's a team missing from our bottom 8s here that might surprise some people, but we both agree on them right now.
Yeah, I do agree. I am buying the Giants, as we mentioned. We talked about the Giants being at 5-5. I think the Giants could win 6 games. They've got 2 wins already. I think they could absolutely win 4 more throughout the season. I think that they're a team that could sneak up on some teams when you would think that they're not going to be favored and they're not going to win games. I would be slightly buying that over 5.5 line from them there. And then I'm selling the Jets. The Jets over-under win
selling
total.
an 0-6 team.
Yeah, well, the over-under went down 1 game to now 4.5.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, Vegas, the Jets aren't winning 4 games.
No, it's going to be hard. And the crazy thing is the schedule would tell you they should, but that doesn't mean anything because they never win anyway.
Where are the 4 wins?
I'll tell you what the 4 wins would have to be. I'm not saying they win these games because I don't pick the Jets to win anymore.
I'm very...
So their next 3 are...
pay me enough for that.
They did not. No. Their next 3 are Panthers, Bengals, Browns. And then their third to last game is Saints. They play the Dolphins again, and the Bills might not be playing their starters in Week 18, which the Jets could still lose that game. But those are 6 games that the spread will be within a field goal or 3.5.
Well, the Jets didn't play their starters because they didn't put Tyrod in the game. So they're already getting ahead of that. And
and against the Dolphins, they take out Breece Hall when it's time to score a touchdown, and Braylon Allen fumbles at the goal line. They love not playing their starters. It's still August to the Jets.
So I don't think that we're going to do a fixture. Well, we might do a fixture franchise like later on the Jets, but I thought it would be unfathomable for Aaron Glenn to get 1 year in New York. And I'm not saying that he's going to get fired. However, I would love to hear from you. I know you've talked about it on a million shows, but the way that he coached that game, he didn't coach to win.
No.
And that becomes a major issue for me, just kind of like projecting what's going to happen for this team, because you're not really allowed to do that. Like, that's not really a thing. Aaron Glenn does not have his players on the roster. We knew that this was billed as a long-term thing for the New York Jets. But even with that being the case, Connor, I know that you know this. They lost the game by 2. When they had the ball with 30 seconds left before the half, they were on their own 47.
Right.
You have 2 chances to attempt and get 15 yards to get into field goal range, which would have won you the game.
All you needed.
And they didn't even attempt it.
No.
And then the explanation for why he didn't go to Tyrod Taylor, like, correct me if I interpreted this wrong, but it sounded like he said after the game, well, I didn't want to go to Tyrod Taylor because Justin had been playing good for 4 games before this, and he was just having a bad game, so I didn't want to bench him because I think that he could still play well throughout the season. Is that what he was saying?
He basically said that, and he talked today again. Yesterday, he thought it was an unfair question, which he just embarrassed himself at the podium. Today, he expanded on it that, his demeanor has been dreadful at the podium, and it gets worse each week. He called it an unfair question, and then he told the reporter that they should know better when the exchange was over. So I have no sympathy in that scenario if that's your response. And then today, he basically said that, like, he didn't want to almost kind of like bury Fields, because he felt in a short order, I got the sense that he felt like if he benched Fields, he couldn't go back to Fields this coming week. And I don't agree with that.
I don't either. I think that's terrible.
When you don't have a franchise quarterback, there are so many days where your current quarterback just doesn't have it. And Justin Fields did not have it. And my take was, I don't even care that you didn't bench Fields at the half. You had to bench him going into the fourth quarter, because the defense is giving you every opportunity to win the game. And the bar to do that is so low. It's so low. The Jets got the ball back. They needed about 25 yards. They had 2 minutes to do it. Sean Payton punted the ball back to them. Wasn't very aggressive on that drive, almost knowing they couldn't get to 25 yards. And if they got those 25 yards, they get a field goal and win the game. And my co-host on Badlands, Joe Caporoso, said when they got across the 50, instead of dropping Fields back where he took the sack and instantly took them out of field goal range, they're so bad on offense, they would have been better just tush pushing it 3 times in a row and getting the field goal unit out there. But instead, they took the sack. They got the loss. He missed Garrett Wilson on that throw to the sideline. He held the ball forever again on 4th down and didn't get a throw off. Yeah. And that's on Glenn. Everybody knew that was going to happen with Fields. So, and you're right about the half situation where he didn't want to give the ball back to Denver. And then today he said there was a miscommunication with the ref. There was so much wrong in this. They're so lost right now. And it's a shame, because the defense and special teams deserve the win over Denver, and they didn't get it.
I loved Aaron Glenn's energy in the offseason. I thought he would be a welcome change for the Jets. I knew that it was not always going to be smooth sailing, because when you sort of have that attitude, you're going to ruffle some feathers. But the way that he coached that game against Denver is pretty inexcusable. And
he's getting worse, right? So the Miami game,
the
Miami game with 7 minutes left, he punted on 4th down back to Miami when the defense was awful all game, and in 2 runs, Miami gets the ball and they run 2 plays. I think they got 43 of the 44 punt yards back.
Yeah.
So he has no feel at all during the game, like zero feel, and rarely ever makes the right decision. How do you burn your fake punt and then not take the shot at the second half?
Dude.
There's no logic applied here at all. It's some of the worst coaching I've seen in a while. And we'll see if he could dig himself out of it to get that second year.
Tony Lee with the $5 super chat. We appreciate you. Bold move, Trevor. 0-6 team. Going to sell that stock. Hey, that's why you guys tune in, baby.
Right, for the good stuff.
You're not gonna find that anywhere else, but right here on the NFL Stock Exchange podcast. You guys stick it here with us. Solid $10 super chat. Fun fact: Rico Dowdle has more yards from scrimmage in the last 2 weeks than Saquon has all season.
Wow.
Buckle up, Buckaroos. Wait, is that a shot at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Hold on. Hold on.
Whoa.
No,
it's not.
Whoa, Tyler, can we erase that from the show? Me even reading that at all, or the text? We gotta slash that out of the show if it's a Buccaneer slander.
No, that's Rico Dowdle saying, "Buckle up."
Yeah, but he said Buckaroos.
Yeah, we're Buckaroos. Me and you.
Okay, all right. Tyler, you can keep it. Tyler, you can
Western slang.
Las Vegas Raiders. I do want to touch on the Las Vegas Raiders here for a second. Their over-under right now has been updated to a 5.5. That's down one game from what it was previously when we reviewed the Raiders 2 weeks ago. They're currently 2-4. They're coming off of a win against the Tennessee Titans. But, I am worried about this team overall. And I think 5.5 is sort of right, like around that I think around like that 6-win mark is probably right for this team. But I had higher hopes for this team. I'm not going to lie. And what really worries me is they don't have any sort of offensive identity feel. I mean, the first 6 weeks of the season have felt like they have just been different every single week. At first, it was okay, they couldn't get Genty going, and now it's okay, well, Geno Smith is all over the place. And this past week against the Titans, man, you know what Geno Smith's average depth of target was in this game? It was 2.8. You're not even trying at 2.8. Geno Smith's career average is like 9-10. 2.8. Last week it was 8.3. 2.8.
2.8 is wild.
You're not trying. So that, to me, the reason why I'm nervous about the Raiders moving forward is I don't really care if you're bad, if you're supposed to be bad. But I want to see some sort of identity form. And it's early in the season. I'm not burying these teams totally. But Chip Kelly, the offensive coordinator, I don't know if this was a Geno thing. I don't know if it was the fact that they don't have Brock Bowers thing. I don't know if it was just what Chip Kelly wanted to do overall. But it can't be all or nothing with Geno Smith. There has to be some sort of an in-between. There has to be hey, the average depth of target this game is going to be like 6 or 7. And you got to be okay with being more methodical here. It can't be you're either slinging it way downfield or I am not letting you pass it beyond 5 yards at all whatsoever. They attempted 2 passes in this game beyond 10 yards. 2. Again, you're not even trying. If you're playing any other team other than Tennessee Titans and the New York Jets last week, you're losing. They're losing that game. And I hate when teams sort of call their game plans like that. So something to monitor moving forward. Yeah, people in the chat caught it. Something to monitor moving forward is, do the Raiders have the receivers throughout the rest of this season that they feel like they can lean on? I like the Deontay Thornton pick. I like the Jack Besh pick. They're not really playing those guys right now. Trey Tucker, Jacoby Myers, okay, those guys are good, but clearly, like, outside of Brock Bowers, it feels like we can't have any sort of consistent offense at all. Are the Raiders going to be back at the wide receiver well again this upcoming draft season? I think that's something to monitor moving forward for this team. So I just wanted to kind of talk about the Raiders and sort of where they're at here.
All right, 24-17. The Carolina Panthers at 24. That's the team that everybody was kind of, wondering, hey.
Wow, only 24. Hater.
Yeah, 3-3 to the Panthers.
Yeah,
and man, doesn't matter who's out there on their offensive line, they could run the absolute hell out of the football.
Best home field advantage in the NFL, Bank of America Stadium.
People are saying this. 23, the Houston Texans. 22, the Arizona Cardinals. 21, the Dallas Cowboys, who I will circle back to after their loss against those Carolina Panthers. 20, the Chicago Bears. They're playing Monday Night Football tonight as we record this. 19, the Minnesota Vikings, who are somehow 3-2 despite all their quarterback problems. 18, the Baltimore Ravens, who I didn't update this in time for Tyler. I'm actually going to be somehow buying the Ravens I think when Lamar gets back, they're gonna go on a little bit of a run. But man, the Ravens do have a lot of problems right now. 17, the Falcons, who also play on Monday Night Football. I said I wanted to circle back to the Dallas Cowboys. Let's yes, and I know everybody's saying my entire side has been hold. That's on me. I think there'll be a couple that I'll verbalize here. I want to get this super chat from Eric. Random thought: can we call unnecessary roughness on God for what he has continued to do to Anthony Richardson? I don't know if I have a response to that.
I don't know if I'm allowed to have a response to that.
Yeah.
It is brutal, though.
I mean, it's terrible.
Dude, both of the pregame injuries. Did you see the Charvarius Ward?
The concussion was wild.
Brother, he got
smashed. Yeah.
In the pregame.
How do these things happen?
I don't know.
Crazy. So, circling back to the Cowboys, and this is probably also a Panthers discussion.
Colts pregame warm-up is a fight club, says Wyatt.
It looked like it. I'm like, what are they doing out there? It's just chaos. It's absolute chaos. Dude. It's like the scene in Anchorman.
It is. Wrong. Yeah, that's true. It's very true.
What are you guys doing? The Cowboys offense is obviously... Oh man, that really escalated quickly. That really got out of hand. That's one of the all-timers. It really is. Sitting there with the beer.
Yep.
The Cowboys are doing this on offense without CeeDee Lamb right now. George Pickens is just putting himself in line for an insane payday. You have been like the OG George Pickens guy, and I don't even know if you have seen this level from him.
It's fun to watch, man.
It is so fun to watch him just go up and steal the football and then look to punch people in the face when he's running in the open field. I mean, he winds up and he's like, I'm going to knock your face mask off your helmet.
He's a Super Smash Brothers character where it's really just like the movements don't make any sense. He's jumping when he shouldn't be. He's punching air.
It's like why did you press triangle?
Yeah, that's George Pickens. That's George Pickens. And I love it.
The issue is this run defense is as bad as I can ever remember.
It's not.
And the problem with it that was so alarming in this game was, Trevor, Kenny Clark was really bad in this game. Really bad. And this is the issue at hand when you have a owner-run operation in terms of personnel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not calling the Micah Parsons trade disaster because let's see what they do with the draft picks. But the earliest of returns on it that you went out there and puffed your chest and said we need to get better run defense, it would be like I don't even know what to compare it to with how bad he was against the run yesterday. And it's the entire team, but they're giving Brian Schottenheimer, and I know Eberflus has been bad and he has his own warts on this, but these guys have no shot with this personnel against the run right now. Like watch the tape of them against the Panthers' interior offensive line. They're just bodies on the ground.
No, you're getting smoked.
Smashed. And the Panthers are missing multiple offensive linemen in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And they are getting absolutely smashed. Their current over-under is now down to 6.5. Dak is playing some of the best football of his life. They've completely wasted a year where the trade for George Pickens looks like a home run, which could be a rental. Hopefully they extend him. Either way, Dak looks awesome. You have a lot of things on offense that are panning out for you, including the coach. But you have completely killed any chance of your team being a threat this year because you failed to address the baseline with your front seven. And that starts with the Micah Parsons trade that, once again, if you traded Micah earlier in the offseason, maybe you could have addressed some of these woes when you had the second wave of free agency and you had the NFL draft to use the picks now. But instead, because of ego situations, this trade came in so late and absolutely screwed the team. Like absolutely screwed the team. And this was the pinnacle of it where it was embarrassing to watch. And good for Rico Dowdle after the game on the podium saying that, they didn't buckle up because he was right.
No, he was absolutely right. And the issue with the Cowboys, I think, is a bigger Matt Eberflus issue. He's somebody who fundamentally, Dalton Washman, again, pointed this out when we were on the PFF NFL show. Fundamentally, Eberflus likes to just run 4 down linemen. He just likes to have 4 down linemen. That's how he likes to operate. 4 down linemen, get creative with sort of the second level and the nickel defenders, whether you're playing with 2 linebackers, 3 linebackers, 4 secondary defenders, 5 secondary defenders, whatever. He likes to just play with 4 down defensive linemen. He doesn't really like to veer too much from that. Connor, the Carolina Panthers had 16 plays in this game when they were running the ball, 24 plays overall, where they had 12 personnel, 13 personnel, or 14 personnel. I just categorized all of them. It's probably mostly just 12 personnel stuff where you have multiple tight ends on the field. The Cowboys never matched it, ever.
Which is a schematic problem. Even
yeah, 100%.
As much as I just torch the personnel, but you are absolutely right. There are schematic issues.
They've got, but like the guys didn't play well, but at the same time, like the guys didn't play well and they're not getting help from the scheme. You've got 6 or 7 blockers for 4 defensive linemen. And you watch Rico Dowdle just run miles down the field with these wide open rushing lanes. This is why. And that's what gets me worried about the Cowboys defense is I just don't think that Eberflus wants to adjust to what teams are doing. And the Panthers have done such an excellent job. You mentioned them losing some offensive linemen. I mean, Brady Christensen and Cade Mays have really filled in very nicely in this game. Taylor Moton didn't even play. Josh Nijman played in this game, and they're still kicking ass in the run. Through 6 weeks this year, the only team that has a team run blocking grade better than the Carolina Panthers is the Indianapolis Colts. The Carolina Panthers are number 2. And, going back to, I know the person in the chat earlier in the show was just having fun. But the reason why I was selling the Panthers after 3 weeks of the season wasn't because I didn't think that they didn't have any potential at all. It's because they weren't fundamentally sound. They couldn't stop the run, and they couldn't run the football 3-4 weeks ago, whatever it was. These last 2 weeks, very clearly, they have been incredible at not just running the football, but this past week against the Cowboys, 1.88 average depth of tackle for this team. They were fantastic at not just running the football, but stopping the run. The Carolina Panthers over the last 2 weeks have been so fundamentally sound into the baselines of what you have to do to win football games in this league. Because of that, just as a, we can get into my next grouping here.
Yeah.
Because I've got Carolina at 19. Now I'll start with where I'm supposed to start with the Houston Texans at 24. Houston Texans, I got at 24. They're sitting here at 2-3. They're on a bye week this week. I'm still selling them at an 8.5. I don't know how much I trust this team. I would love to, but I'm still a sell with them at 8.5 as an over and under win total. The Arizona Cardinals, I have them down 4 spots this week. They're 2-4. I don't really trust this team at all. I said that the last time that we did this. Baltimore Ravens, I have at 22 until Lamar comes back.
Right. That's fair.
They are so incredibly beatable as a football team. So they're down 12 spots sitting there. Vikings, I have at 21. Cowboys, I have at 20. The Panthers, then I have at number 19. They're up 12 spots from where they were the last time we did this exercise. And then the Bears and the Falcons, I have at 18 and 17. They haven't played yet. They're playing on Monday Night Football later tonight. But the Panthers now sitting here at 3-3. Over under win total has moved up 1 to 6.5. I'm kind of holding that number. I'm cautiously optimistic about what the Panthers are, but I kind of need to continue to see it. Now they play the Jets this upcoming week, so it should be another win for them. So they should be 4-3. So in theory, if I'm doing anything with Carolina, it should be a bye because I'm thinking that they are going to win at least one more game and then, 3 more games the rest of the season gets them above that 6.5 mark. So I feel pretty good about that, especially for how fundamentally sound that they were. But that's how I feel about Carolina. I think that I don't think it's just flash in a bottle, Connor, because where the Panthers have gotten better is very repeatable. It's not like it was a 200-yard day from Tetro and McMillan that you obviously aren't going to be able to replicate or something like that. It's grounded pound, stopping the run, that kind of game plan. And I think that that's a very repeatable thing, and that's why I've got them up 12 spots, and I've got them at number 19 here.
Yeah, listen, Canales has the run game absolutely rolling right now. Bryce is doing enough. T-Mac looks like a good pick. I know he had one tough moment in that game, but it's going to happen with rookies. So, and then a lot of these teams, Trevor, we're waiting on the results of Monday Night Football. So I think we spin it ahead to the top half of the league here.
Titans making Mike McCoy their interim head coach. Very
yeah.
interesting. Very interesting. Oh, some super chats. Kyle said, tell Connor the Panthers run blocking stats, Trevor. There you go. I did. So I hope the $2 super chat was worth it that we got it in there. Another $5 super chat from Solid. Every team should be minus 13.5 dogs at the bank. Come on, Vegas. It's true. Home field advantage is right there. Arlo, $5 super chat. Quote, we need to stop the run. Jerry Jones.
Let's put 4 against 7.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Yeah, he had the right idea.
He's speaking in parables now.
And
Hayden
then
with the $2 super chat. Cowboys make me sick to my stomach.
At least you score points.
Hey, Dak's playing at MVP level.
It's been awesome.
Come on. CeeDee Lamb's going to come back at some point. Brady saying the new Battlefield game came out. Does this affect Cardinals rankings since Kyler's going to be grinding? Yes.
Is he only loyal to Call of Duty, or is he just a gamer? I don't know.
I don't know. I bought the new Battlefield. I'm having a ton of fun with it.
I was actually curious how it is, because I was a big OG Battlefield player. It's been a while.
Yeah. I played the crap out of, well, this is an OG BF1, the one that was like World War I.
That was a great one.
I
didn't they have horses?
So many hours
in that game.
The what? What'd you say?
Didn't they have horses?
Oh, hell yeah, they
did.
And it was me and my 2 buddies. And the strategy that those guys would have is, one of my friends who is the best at the game would actually play the game for the objective and try to win us the conquest. My other friend would just run around on a horse with a sword and just get behind enemy lines and just slice and dice people as much as he possibly can before he eventually got shotgunned. And then I am 500 meters back from where the objective is, sniping my ass off, caring about one thing only, and that is the longest snipe clip that I'm going to be able to save on my Xbox.
There's always every team has a wide array of players.
Yeah, that was us.
And that is, you just perfectly summed up the class of each player.
It was
I would absolutely hate you and be yelling at you on comms, but goddamn, do I respect you.
There is nothing more demoralizing than just getting absolutely domed from a sniper. And then it shows you where you got hit from, and it's like 8 football fields away. And you're just screaming, that guy's not even playing the game. What is he doing? He's out here ruining the experience. I'm getting messages on Xbox. I will find you.
Oh, Lord.
That's why we play the game, folks. Okay, my 8. Was there a team that I want to talk about in my 8? I can't remember. Oh, the Ravens. Yeah, the Ravens. It's tough out here for the Ravens. Basically, we're just at the point where until Lamar gets back, I don't know what to think of this team. But even if Lamar gets back, this team needs defensive line help. They got to be way better against the run.
They're just small right now.
They are.
Or playing small.
Without Nandi Madubuike.
Yeah.
This team has just really, really struggled. Yeah, everybody's just like, sell the Dolphins. D. Sauter is just saying sell. Harbaugh needs to go. Hold on. I don't know about that.
He'd have a job the next day. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. That's often not a good move. Sauter's saying Lamar's not fixing the defense. Defense is bad. There's no question. They got to be way better. But I just don't know what to think of this team until Lamar gets back. But if Lamar gets back, we could have something here. Hey, before you get into your top 16 for the next 8, got to remind people that October 10th is World Mental Health Day. This year, we're saying thank you to all the therapists out there. BetterHelp therapists have helped over 5 million people worldwide on their mental health journeys. It's millions of stories, millions of journeys. And behind every one of them is, of course, a therapist who showed up, listened, and helped someone take a step forward. Moments in therapy, like the right questions that are asked, a safe space to get emotional or cry, or just the small wins, whatever it looks like, that can sometimes change lives. And World Mental Health Day, BetterHelp is honoring those connections and the therapists who make them possible while showing how easy it is to get guidance from a licensed therapist with BetterHelp. I've been doing therapy for over 2 years. Anybody who's listened to this podcast over that time knows that I've talked about it before. I really do think that it's one of the best decisions that you could possibly make, especially when you find a therapist that you love, that you can trust, that can really help you. It brings out the best version of you. It absolutely does. And I will say that with my whole chest. I really will. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. And it works with an average rating of 4.9 stars out of 5 for all live sessions based on over 1.7 million client reviews. This World Health Day, we are celebrating the therapists who have helped millions of people take a step forward. If you're ready to find the right therapist for you, BetterHelp can help you on that journey. Our listeners get 10% off with their first month at BetterHelp.com/PFF. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/PFF. By the way, while we are here, if you guys are watching this show, if you enjoy any of the content that we do here over at NFL Stock Exchange, could you check and see if you are subscribed to the channel or not? If you are not, it is a free, easy way to support what we're doing here. We love getting to make content for you guys and with you guys. And the more subscribers that we have, the easier it is to make content like this and honestly make it better in the future. We love that you guys are in the live show. We love that you guys are watching afterwards, and we would love for you to continue to stick around and be part of the Addicts as subscribers. So if you're not subscribed, we would love for you to do that. There you go. Okay, so top 16, excuse me, the next 8 that we have here.
Yep,
Connor.
16-9, New England Patriots at 16. They have risen up 8 spots for me since the last show we did, which was a couple weeks ago, to be fair. But Patriots are playing really good football right now and are an ascending team. 15, the Steelers, they are up as well with that 4-1 record. 14, the Denver Broncos, not pretty in London, but you come out with a win on a day that your offense just didn't really have anything. And that's really important in that division because you can't let those get away. So they sit at 4-2. Jacksonville at 13. 12, the Washington Commanders, who play tonight on Monday Night Football. 11, who I'm going to talk about here in a second, the San Francisco 49ers. 10, Seattle Seahawks, who I still really like. I think Sam Darnold and Jackson Smith-Njigba are the best connection in the 2025 NFL season, quarterback to wide receiver. It is amazing watching them play. Sam's been so good at under center play action. Kubiak just is calling it all right for Sam Darnold right now. And the Packers at 9, who just kind of chug along, and it's not always pretty. Very odd team, the Packers. Like, they allow teams to hang around every time you think they're just going to put the game away. But at the end of the day, they're in the top 10 here. The Niners, though, Trevor, at 11.
Mm-hmm.
They are 4-2. Their win total before the year was 10.5. Their win total today is 10.5. Man, credit to Mac, and I understand they're coming off a tough loss, but credit to Mac Jones for keeping them afloat. A lot of games he's had to start. Kyle Shanahan doing a great job. This team is not efficient in the run game. They are somehow getting enough out of their offense. But Trevor, I don't know how any team can survive losing Nick Bosa and Fred Warner in the first 6 weeks of the season. I just don't. And it's weird with the Niners because I'm not selling them. Because with the schedule and their coaching, like, their next 6 are home to the Falcons, at the Texans, at the Giants, home to the Rams, who they beat the Rams with backups on a short week, at the Cardinals, home to the Panthers. I don't think the Niners are going to go into this tailspin. I don't. But the goal for the Niners isn't to just avoid a tailspin. It's to play in really big games. Like, obviously, they have a different bar there right now than a team that's rebuilding. It's just so hard right now. That game, when Fred Warner played 8 snaps, and after he came out of the game, it was just a field day for Baker in the middle of the field. A field day. He didn't miss in the middle of the field, essentially. And I'm very curious how Robert Saleh finds a way to, you can't replace Fred Warner, but to just get by without him.
Yeah, I have the 49ers a little bit lower than you do. Where do you have them? You have them.
I had them at 10, I think.
At 10. I have them at 14.
11. I have them at 11.
I have them at 14. I think they're a sell candidate at 10.5. They just have too many. And like the chat shouting out, the number 49 stands for how many guys are injured on their team. And it's like,
crazy.
Okay, like that's a joke, but it's also not. Like,
yeah, that might be the number.
And I think the problem with with the Niners injuries is before it was a volume thing. Now it's a top of the food chain type of a thing. If we went into this season, I would have told you the 2 players that the 49ers can't lose the most. Nick Bosa is one because he's the one-on-one pass rush winner that makes Robert Saleh's defensive scheme work.
100%.
You have to be able to win up front with 4, mainly with 1 great pass rusher. I mean, you'd love to have a lot of them, but one of them has to be a big-time disruptive pass rusher, and Nick Bosa was that. So I would have told you that Nick Bosa is the number 1 player that they cannot lose. Number 2 is Fred Warner. Now both of them are gone for the season. They'll get back George Kittle. They'll get back Brandon Ayuk in theory. But
in theory,
it's
Richie
just,
Pearsall.
Yeah, I mean, they will get some guys back. But
did you hear Jawan Jennings?
Yeah, he said he's like playing with like broken ribs and 2 broken feet. I don't like something.
It's a high ankle sprain, a low ankle sprain, 5 broken
amputated
ribs,
leg,
shoulders at 20%.
He was decapitated last week, and he still played this week.
He just went full starfish. He just grows new limbs.
That's true. A good call out. Hey, shout out to Starfish. Shout out to Starfish.
Underrated specimen of the sea.
That's very true.
They tell you that like if you're trying to lower the amount of starfish in the ocean, some sailors make the mistake of chopping them up and throwing them back in, but they can grow back into more. You don't do that.
That's a bad sailor. I mean, that's sailor school 101.
It's pretty
learn
low
that
level.
We've all been to sailor school. And like that's 101. So
I watched SpongeBob, man. Like I know what I'm doing out there.
Exactly. That's actually, being a sailor 101. Saul with another $5 super chat says, I may or may not be performing dark rituals to suck the life from the 49ers to sustain Christian McCaffrey for my fantasy team.
Feels that way.
We don't condone or approve that, but CMC is still healthy.
Wild.
And for that, we are thankful amongst our fantasy teams, and because he's a great football player, and because him being healthy didn't affect them beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
So, right, who I will talk about later.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Can't wait, baby. All right, my next 8. I also have the New England Patriots at 16. We have a lot of the same players or the same teams here, as we often do. The Patriots are up 7 spots for me, as are the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm holding the Pittsburgh Steelers now at that 9.5 win total. I am buying the New England Patriots at the 10.5 win total. Their schedule is so easy, and Drake May is playing like a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
Yep,
so far, six weeks through the season, he has the 4th best passing grade in the NFL, and he has the 5th best passing grade in the NFL under pressure. This dude is so good. The last 2 weeks from Drake May have been incredible. Now, do I think the rest of the year is going to look as good as it has the last 2 weeks? No, because it never really does in the NFL. It's always going to be a little bit of up and down. But if we have arrived here in the second year of Drake May, and this is what this dude is capable of, Patriots are going to win a lot of football games with that schedule, and I think they could be a buy at over 10.5. Steelers.
Great take.
I think at 15. So I was lower on the Steelers. We both have them at 15, but they're only up 2 spots for you. They're up 7 spots for me. This past week was like the week where they looked really good. I thought they had an excellent game plan against Myles Garrett and the Cleveland Browns. They consistently put tight ends and chip blocks and double teams over Myles Garrett to make him not a factor. And Aaron Rodgers was really good at getting the ball out of his hand very, very quickly. But sometimes Aaron Rodgers gets the ball out of his hand quickly, and it doesn't really amount to anything. Like, it's just a bunch of low ADDICTS stuff. And that's honestly what a lot of the Steelers have been so far this season. And so I haven't loved the Steelers. And the reason why they've been lower on my power rankings is because I haven't really seen Aaron Rodgers go out and win with his arm. And I haven't really watched them be a dominant, consistent football team, especially in the passing game. This past week, he had 3 big-time throws, no turnover-worthy plays. It was the first game this year where he had multiple big-time throws and no turnover-worthy plays. He's had 2 previous games where he had 2 big-time throws, but in those games, one of them he had 2 turnover-worthy plays to match it, and another one he had 1 turnover-worthy play. So this was just the best game that we have seen from the Steelers. And now that I've seen this and they're capable of this against a good Cleveland Browns defense, I've got more faith in this team. So I've got them here at number 15 now. 49ers, I mentioned I have at 14. The Commanders, I have at 13. They're up 3 spots. I think Jaden, obviously, like, pending on what happens in Monday Night Football, but when they have Jaden, they got a chance. The defense just has to certainly play better than what it started at the first quarter of the season. Broncos, I have at number 12. I still like this team, but my God, what a horrendous offensive game plan they played against the New York Jets. They deserve to lose that game. Now,
they tried. They were begging Justin Fields to take it.
Now, the record, I don't think, changes, because if you want to play the grand scheme of things and how the universe always balances out, they should have won the game against the Colts. and they probably should have lost the game against the Jets.
Right.
So if you flip those two things, the record stays the same. I still like the Broncos. The defense is starting to play a lot better, but we've got to stabilize the offense. Chargers, I brought them down 4 spots. The offensive line's just so tough, man. I understand they won this past week against the Dolphins, but I just don't know how much Justin Herbert can do with that team. I'm selling them at 10.5. I think they are a 9-10 win team, currently sitting here at 4-2 with the injuries that they have and the play of their offensive line. Jags, I have at number 10, up 3 spots. And the Seattle Seahawks, I have up 1 spot at number 9. Let's just take a second and talk about the New England Patriots here at number 16. The way that Drake May has played over the last 2 games, you have to absolutely love, but it is so much more than him. I think the offensive line is playing better. That young group is playing really great. The wide receivers, man. I mean, we went into this season thinking that if Jalen, we went into this season thinking that, all right, Stephon Diggs probably going to be wide receiver 1, but then it's going to be Jalen Polk and Javon Baker, right? Well, Javon Baker's not even on the squad anymore.
They traded Jalen Polk.
Jalen Polk's out. No, they didn't trade him, did they?
Yeah. He's out for the year, but they traded him to the Saints.
Damn, I missed that.
Yeah, it was kind of an under-the-radar move over the summer. Yep.
All right, so both those guys are no longer there. Javon Baker's not there, right? He's not on the practice squad, is he?
No, he's on the Eagles now.
Okay, there we go. So neither of those guys are even on the team anymore. And instead they have Stephon Diggs having a revitalized part of his career. Pop Douglas looks great. Matt Collins is giving you those couple of plays a game that you really feel great about. That big catch every week or two that you honestly why you signed him. Kayshon Boutte looks awesome. Contested catch beast this year.
Really good week.
He's 5 for 7. He had a really great week, almost 100-yard game and 2 touchdowns. The run game, okay, we're stabilizing it and getting a little bit more consistent, but at least you got talent there in the running back room, and then the defense has the ability to play pretty good. To be honest with you, 16 feels low for the Patriots, and again, if they come out and absolutely blast the Titans, I guess that won't really change too many things for me, but if we do this exercise, because we're doing Fix Your Franchise next Monday, if we're doing power rankings a week after that or 2 weeks after that, the Patriots might be knocking on the door of the top 10 with the way that Drake May has played over the last 2 weeks and the way that the team looks right now.
And the most important point you made of why you're buying them, the schedule going forward right now. And I know the chat is having a lot of fun with my 32 consecutive holds. I was dying laughing at the comments. Most of the time, the mistakes we make on this show are usually the funniest moments. My 2 buys in that section were the Patriots and the Seahawks. I am a believer in both going forward. Let's close this thing out with my top 8. I have the Chargers right at 8. You had them down at 11. Joe Alt is working his way back. Hopefully that gives Justin Herbert some kind of help here, man. I mean, it's just any team that loses both their starting tackles is probably going to deal with this situation. That play, though, to Ladd at the end of the game, when you need it, your special players got to make plays, and they found a way in that one.
He had... So I think it's an underrated part of that game that they were down on the scoreboard, right?
Which is insane.
For as much as we want to, shit on the Dolphins because they're not good, they were down on the scoreboard in that game with a minute left. Justin Herbert had 2 dropbacks, or 2 passes, I should say. One of them, he had to escape pressure and heroically avoid a sack and get the ball off just to make it an incomplete pass. And then the other pass was the one where he's hanging on for dear life and still somehow finds Ladd McConkey. He hits the yak. They get in field goal range. They win. Unbelievable effort from Justin Herbert there to win that game.
It was. And that's why I have them at 8. Kamani Vidal giving them something while they have Amari Hampton on. They once again, the Chargers are dealing with key injuries, but maybe they get right in the second half and that keeps them afloat. 7, the Rams. Not a pretty day for the Rams. Puka gets hurt. They never really put the Ravens away like you thought they would, and they still won 17-3. So it ultimately didn't matter. 6, the Eagles. Man, there's a lot wrong with the Eagles right now. For them, they've dropped from my number 1 spot. The pass game, you've probably heard it on 1,000 million shows. It's just, especially against zone, it's been a huge problem. The run game is not creative with Saquon. 5, the Chiefs. I am buying the Chiefs, despite what the public is saying about me that I'm holding. I'm death gripping every single team. Man, the Chiefs had it all rolling on Sunday night. Mahomes in the quick game, Mahomes' rushing ability, getting guys in space, Spags and his ability to keep the Lions under 100 rushing yards, I believe under 200 passing yards. When you completely take away Gibbs and Montgomery, that's not how the Lions want to play. And now they get Rashee Rice back. Chiefs are coming, dude. They are. It was a kind of a slog and a weird start to the year, but everything is kind of turning for them. And Brett Veach will be one of those GMs that will be ultra aggressive at this trade deadline in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right.
I am buying the Chiefs again because I think this team is going to look a lot different in just 3 weeks. The Colts at 4. What I loved about the Colts this weekend was they played one of their worst games and the bar was very high. And really good teams, when they play a game like that, they still find a way to win. Brissett was going up and down the field. The Colts defense didn't have it. The secondary was tough. And the Colts offense is just so diverse. It just doesn't matter. They just find a way to win games. And Tyler Warren is the pinnacle example of having an actual plan for your first round pick. Like you can take the running back in the first round. You could take the tight end in the first round, despite all of the world screaming at you that you're a moron for doing that. But if you have the actual perfect plan of how to maximize that player for your scheme, you actually look smart. And right now, Shane Steichen and Chris Ballard look like geniuses for taking a tight end in the first round because they use him in 90 different ways, and he's productive every single week. The Bucs, who I'll circle back. You want to jump in there, Trevor?
Well, I was just gonna say about the Colts. 91.7 run blocking grade as a team this past week. I went back and I watched a lot of the tape from the Colts as a run blocking unit. I said this to Dalton on the PFF NFL show. They look like a professional choreographed dance group, honestly, with how in sync all of their steps are together. Whether it's pin and pull, whether it's inside or outside zone, whether it's counter or like duo, whatever it is, everything is so in unison. There's so much chemistry with this group. They're unbelievable. And then when your extra end man on the line of scrimmage, like your extra blocker is Tyler freaking Warren, you're living, baby. That is how you have as high of a floor as the Indianapolis Colts have this season.
Yeah, Colts had the weird, letdown game, and they still won, and that's why they're a good team. They're like they are absolutely a really, really good team. Jonathan Taylor might be the offensive player of the year right now. I'll circle back to the Bucs, who, the Bucs are just the ultimate find a way team. The Bills play on Monday night. They're still at 2. And I'd really flip a coin between them and the Lions right now. The Lions, it might seem weird to do this after a loss, but they're down their entire secondary right now.
Yeah.
And, they're another team. They're going to need reinforcements. They're down their entire secondary right now. And I think on a week-by-week basis, it's easy to believe in the Lions. Yes, they lost against the Chiefs. And yes, they had a tough week 1 against Green Bay. But the actual nuts and bolts of their team gives them typically sustainable success in a year where there's no elite dog right now, at the top here. You can make an argument for the Lions, the Bills, the Chiefs, the Bucs, the Colts, the Eagles, all of them to be at number 1. I don't put the Lions at 1 and write it in ink. I think this is the most loose it's ever been. But back to the Bucs at 3. Does anybody do more for their team than Baker Mayfield this year?
So that's a really great way to bring up Tony Lee's $20 super chat, which we really appreciate you giving a super chat.
Thank you, Tony.
Just give me Baker Mayfield for MVP. Doesn't hurt that I sprinkled a little on him for MVP at the start of the year. But regardless, give him for MVP. I don't know if he's the front runner, but he's got a case to be the front runner. I think there's a handful of guys that you can mention who are playing some really good football right now when you think about the MVP award and everything that means. But it is hard to build a case stronger than the one that Baker Mayfield has 6 weeks into the season with this team 5-1. He's played without Mike Evans for a handful of games. He's played without Chris Godwin for most games. Yeah. And Emeka Egbuka even went out of the game in this past contest, and they still ended up winning the game because he's able to find a guy like Tez Johnson deep down the field for a deep shot touchdown to pull away and win. He is, I think he has the strongest case. I really do. I'm not necessarily saying that he has played the best, But Baker Mayfield has more of those MVP moments. And I think that in a closely contested MVP battle, that matters. And even like all bias aside, he would be my MVP pick right now.
Yeah, I'm with you. I completely agree. If I had a vote, which this podcast shockingly does not, he would be my
AP,
vote
come
for
on. AP, get in on
MVP.
it. We know that the Associated Press is listening and watching every single episode that we do. You know, you got to consider the NFL Stock Exchange for voting for MVP.
Just one vote. We want to we'll do it together. We'll do our Heisman vote together. We'll do our MVP and NFL MVP vote together. I called them, Trevor, on Fantasy Football Happy Hour today, like a little bit of the land of misfit toys. The Bucs are the team that is willing to take players almost in the Moneyball view, like overlooked for a variety of reasons, and it works with the Bucs. Bucky Irving, too small, not a good enough athlete. Okay, Tampa Bay Bucs will take him, becomes a star. Tez Johnson, 154 pounds at the combine. This guy can't play in the NFL. Gets his number called because the Bucs have 95 wide receiver injuries, makes a play. Baker Mayfield, ultimate outcast from multiple teams in the NFL. Now he's the emotional leader and an MVP candidate. Like, the Bucs are just the best franchise at doing that. And that's a credit to Jason Light and the infrastructure that they have there and the consistency they have there. And I get why some people in the comments are a little disappointed I have them at 3 and not 1 or 2. I guess the holdback from me right now is, do these injuries ever fully catch up to the Bucs in a really, really big spot? Mm-hmm. Because it's so hard, but they are overcoming it. And if they keep doing this, yeah, they'll ultimately be the number 1 team for me, without a doubt.
Yeah. Do you see the chat right now?
I saw Peter has industry sources.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's because they're on one right now talking about how Peter has an AP vote. And then Dr. Spangle said the Associated Peters for the AP.
Yeah, it's not Associated Press. I don't know why you said that before.
Yeah, it's the Associated Peters. I forgot. We definitely have an Associated Peters vote. No doubt about that. And then Cameron said, sponsor. Yeah, Peter has industry sources, you know, as we do here on this podcast. Okay, so I'll talk a little bit about the Bucs as I give my top 8 here. I have the Indianapolis Colts at number 8. 11.5 win total, which is up 2 from the last time that we talked about it. They opened at 7.5, man.
Shane Steichen is one hell of a football coach.
He's going to win Coach of the Year. He's going to win Coach of the Year.
He should.
And I got them at number 8. I got the Packers at number 7. They're down 4 spots just because I agree with you. There are times when I watch the Packers where it's like, I feel like there's inconsistencies with them being a little bit up and down. But, man, I really like some of the offensive stuff that I saw in the passing game that they were able to do this past week against the Cincinnati Bengals, against the Bengals. You kind of look at, because let me pull up the Packers schedule. You look at the Packers schedule and it's like, okay, the Detroit Lions win was a fantastic win. The Commanders win, I think, was still a strong win for this team. They were coming out of the gate really hot. They had all that momentum with Micah Parsons. And then it's, all right, it's a loss at the Cleveland Browns. Not ideal, but their defense was playing on fire. You tie the Dallas Cowboys, you get a bye, and then it's the Cincinnati Bengals. We got a good stretch here. We got the Cardinals, the Steelers, the Panthers, the Eagles coming up next for the Green Bay Packers. And I really think that we figure out exactly what this team is once we get down this four-game stretch. But I do have a little bit of reservations with the Packers because their pass rush is kind of taking a step back. It's not as high as it was to start the season. They're hitting these big shots in the passing game. Get a little bit like, okay, well, is this going to turn into what it was last year where they were a little bit hot and cold? Maybe that's not the case now with Matthew Golden, but I am ready to be in on the Packers as I've had them in my top 3 for a little bit here, and I moved them down a little bit, but I kind of really just want to see what they are over this next 4-game stretch. I agree with you, man. The Chiefs are here to stay. Everybody who's trying to bury the dynasty of the Chiefs, you got to wait at least another year. I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. I think they're going to make the playoffs one way or another, whether it's winning the division or getting into the wild card, and they're going to be one of the toughest outs no matter what. Rams, when they're fully healthy, they are incredible. Somebody in the chat was saying Matthew Stafford for MVP. Stafford is absolutely playing at an MVP caliber level for this team. And when they're firing on all cylinders, they're fantastic. Bucs, I have at number 4. It really is kind of just they're at an 11.5 win total, which is up one from the last time that we did this podcast. I don't have the Bucks in my top 3 because I have the Eagles at 3 still, sort of just out of respect for the potential that the Eagles have, although their offensive line's not playing as well as we normally think that it's going to. The pass game's got a lot of problems. They're not really committed to the run game the way that they should. Their defense isn't as stout as it was the previous season. I get that all that exists, but at the end of the day, they still beat Tampa in Tampa. And I can talk about how close that game was, and if a punt doesn't get blocked, it maybe is a different story, but they did beat Tampa in Tampa not that long ago. So I wanted to kind of put the Bucks in that top 3 spot, but if I'm going to have the Eagles right there, the results do matter. I kind of have to put the Eagles there at number 3. Lions and Bills, you're right. I think there's a coin flip for who's the top team in the NFL. I almost had the Detroit Lions as the number 1 team, even with the loss last night, simply because when the Lions are fully healthy, they are an absolute juggernaut. And I am worried about the Buffalo Bills. I'm worried about the Buffalo Bills with their defense, but the Lions, man, they have the ability to beat you in so many different ways. I really do think that. They can have games where it's a massive ground and pound game with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. There's games where they're really leaning on Sam Laporta like they did against the Chiefs. There's games when Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to go off for over 100. There's games when Jameson Williams is going to be that deep threat for you. They have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL, and I think Jared Goff is playing at a really high level consistently this season. He's playing really confidently. So when that defense gets healthy, especially in that secondary, I still think that this is one of the best teams in the NFL, and they've showcased us that over the first 6 weeks, even with their 4-2 record. So I'm not like, oh, they've lost 2 games, we have to bring the Detroit Lions down in the rankings. I'm just not buying that at all. And I know that you're not, with them being number 1 for you.
No, I'm laughing in the chat. Scott said the return of Alim McNeil is going to hit like crack. How often do you hear someone say that? Try that one out at your job tomorrow, everyone. Just in the water cooler. Hey, you hear who's coming back next week? And the person looks at you because they think you're talking about someone in the office.
It's
Alim McNeil. It's gonna hit like crack.
Is it the Allstate commercial or whatever, where he's like, oh, I checked Allstate. That was a good idea. Barking at my boss, though, bad idea. Yes. And it's like, I'm at the office saying that Alim McNeil is going to absolutely hit like crack. Bad idea. That's our version of that commercial right there.
Oh, man. You're right in the chat, Matt. I love me some run defense. Good God.
Tommy's saying everybody's better when they're fully healthy. That's a BS take. Right, but it's players who are going to come back. So
he'll be back next week.
We kind of factor that in a little bit here.
It's part of the job.
$10 super chat from the Stank Master.
Whoa.
As a fellow Gators fan, which one of their players will go off the board first in the 2026 draft?
Caleb, right?
Caleb. Yeah, it's got to be Caleb. Right?
We haven't moved off of Caleb just because he hasn't played.
Who's the next guy?
Yeah, give me like the.
Is Slaughter next? Slaughter's playing well. He just plays center, and it's just like not a flashy position.
Right. That's very true.
I think Slaughter's like a day 2 guy, but
what's my guy Gumby up to these days?
I don't know. Look, he's your dude.
Man.
Gumby's kind of out here.
Oh, man.
Austin Barber, I thought could be a top 50 player.
He tough year, right?
Not had a good year.
Yeah, no, it's been a really
Cassius
tough
Howell,
year.
Unfortunately, smoked him. Nicholas says tight end 1 DJ Lagway. Block his IP address from ever watching the show ever again. No, I'm kidding, Nicholas.
Actually send the FBI to his home. Launch a full-fledged investigation.
William
I'm actually here with
Lagway.
you, Nicholas.
Well, hey, joke's on all you guys. Lagway's not even eligible yet. He's got a full year to transition to tight end.
Oh,
Joke's
man.
on you guys. We had a couple of super chats that we missed. Super Pony with the $2 super chat. We appreciate you. He said, I know Connor's still holding on my Colts, LOL.
I'll never let go.
The Colts were a hold for you, as was the other 31 teams.
Call me Rose and Titanic. I'll never let go. Oh, man.
We gotta find a bad offensive lineman to be like, call me this guy because I'm always holding.
Yeah. Here we go. That's good.
We got another $2 super chat. Steelers Bucks Super Bowl. Is Cleveland hell? Wow, it would be. The Steelers making the Super Bowl, and then Baker making the Super Bowl. That'd be tough. That'd be tough for him.
Yeah,
I'd personally love to see it.
I don't know if I would. I'd be rooting for the Bucks very, very hard.
Wow, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. I just, don't need that.
Tony with a $5 super chat said, would the Niners call the Jets for Quincy Williams?
Great call, Tony.
If he gets healthy before the trade deadline.
The answer is, I think you're on the right line of thinking. I can't definitively say yes because I don't work for the Niners, but I would think more likely than not because Quincy became an all-pro in Robert Saleh's scheme. He was cut by the Jags and was left for dead and got picked up as a waiver claim and became an all-pro.
Yeah.
That's pretty rare. So he's
true.
He's a pending free agent. So I think the Jets would definitely take calls on him. So anytime you can get an all-pro linebacker for, I don't know, not crazy compensation, 4th rounder. We'll see. Good call. Good call, Tony.
Joel said cucumber, of course. You know,
one of our favorite 5-star recruit.
Peter's wondering about Eugene Wilson. Yeah, Eugene Wilson's not draftable.
Oh, now you call him Eugene?
No. Trey Wilson.
Now all of a sudden,
day two player. Trey Wilson, day 2 player. Eugene Wilson, undrafted player.
Because he's got 118 yards. He's Eugene again. Unreal.
Yeah, you try to get catches in this Billy Napier offense. See how it goes for you.
Dude, it's me screaming for Georgia Tech to throw Eric Rivers the ball every week.
That's me. That's me with Trey Wilson.
It's the same exact thing and then they'll have a 22-yard catch. And you're like, see, you look around at everybody around you and they all look at you like you're a psycho. I've been saying, get Eric Rivers the ball. And everybody's like, what's wrong with you? Go to an asylum.
Brandon saying Tyreek Sapp's got to be drafted, right? I guess 4th or 5th round. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's absolutely getting drafted.
That's a good callback as well.
Yeah, he's getting drafted.
But yeah, I think the runaway answer to that question should be Caleb Banks.
Was Caleb Banks. Yeah.
Super Pony with a super chat asking, is Sauce available? I don't think so because they just paid him. I think the players off the top of my head that would be available would be Brees, potentially for a very expensive cost, Quinnen, Quincy. Imagine you trade for both Quinnen and Quincy.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do it.
It's like, oh yeah, let's get 2.
It's like, again,
that'd be sick.
I've said this before. It's like in NBA 2K when you would do a fantasy draft. You've got to draft. If you're going to draft one of Markieff and Marcus Morris, you have to draft both of them because they play better as brothers when they're on the same team.
Yeah, I like the Quincy and Quinnen package.
Yeah.
That'd be very, very expensive, though.
Oh, Jared's asking, should the Panthers trade for Kayvon Thibodeau?
I don't know what the Giants are going to do because Kayvon's playing really well right now. It's been kind of one of the underrated storylines of the season for them is it's like, oh, we got Abdul Carter. Who cares about Kayvon? And Kayvon
is playing well. I don't think the Giants.
But can you pay him?
Yeah, but also, can you let him go in like this make or break year for you?
That's a great call.
I don't know. I don't know, Jared. It's a great question because I don't know who would win in the war between don't trade my good players when I'm on the hot seat and we're probably not going to pay him after this season. I don't know who wins there in that power struggle.
I guess the argument would be if Shane gets kept on, he will return you something in the comp pick formula. But you're right. You would do way better by trading him. But he's a good player and the team's got juice right now. So you don't really want to trade him. I think I just found one of the hardest questions to answer in the NFL trade deadline.
Yeah, that's actually a really good one.
Yeah, good stuff, Jared.
Yeah. All right. A couple more people are asking about this. Where do you think Chris Olave is going?
The concussion history makes it difficult, and he'll be due to get paid.
What's a good landing spot for him?
Well, that's actually it's not as easy as I initially thought. Like, who's a really high-end team right now that needs a receiver?
Well, I mean, he'd be sick on the Patriots. I don't think they trade for him, though.
Patriots definitely could use their receivers, like you said, are playing better, but they can use one.
Right.
Yeah, actually, you know what my answer is?
Who?
And I don't think they'd do it because they wouldn't want to pay him, but it would be Seattle. Because Cooper Kupp hasn't been really great. He's been okay.
I think he's been fine.
He's been fine, but like it's been a little up and down. Torrey Horton has had his moments. JSN there's an argument JSN is the best receiver in football right now.
Right.
But it's one of those moves I like in the short term. I don't like it in the long term. So probably not, but they're a dark horse team, I would say.
That is interesting. That is very interesting.
No, I know who absolutely the answer. The freaking Broncos.
Oh, yeah.
It's absolutely the Broncos.
Yeah.
The Jets took Sutton out of that game, and it was like everybody looking around at each other like, well, now what do we do?
Yeah. Olave would be pretty sick with the Broncos. Damn, this is fun. We might have to dedicate some more time, or maybe even like a show to.
We should do an open chat episode.
Yeah.
For the trade deadline,
right? Because that's coming in 2 weeks.
We're getting there. It's a little pushed back this year.
All right,
might be 3, but either way, it's around the corner.
We could do more of this. This was fun.
November 4th.
Okay,
so we could do one November 3rd if we want.
There you go. We would love to hear from you guys. Shout out to everybody who joined the show live, who was in on the chat. We really appreciate you. You always make these live shows a ton of fun. If you missed it, 4:30 p.m. on Mondays and Wednesdays. That's when we're going live right here on the YouTube channel. If you guys aren't subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel. If you're watching this afterwards and you want to get in on the conversation, youtube.com/NFL Stock Exchange. Hit us up in the comments. We're going back and forth through the comments as well. We're not just, going back and forth with you guys here on the live show. I promise we read all the comments. We go back and forth with you guys there. So feel free. If you can't watch it live, it's still okay. Let us hear your thoughts in the comment section. That's the best way to do that. You can follow the show on social media at NFLSE Show on Twitter, on TikTok, on Instagram. You can follow us as well at Tampa Bay Trey, at Connor J. Rogers on all of those social media platforms too. Connor, anything else before we get out of here?
No, man. Like you said, I love the interaction doing these live shows. Hopefully everybody else has enjoyed transitioning to this format as much as us. And we love you guys. It's so much fun. Thank you everyone for the super chats. You guys are bringing great conversation to the show, and Trevor and I love that. And keep that energy up when we start fixing some franchises, because that's going to be like, dude, we're going to
a live fix your franchise episode. We've never done that before.
I think what we do for that, we do one mock draft. This is us playing the pod on the pod. We do one mock draft together, and then I think we do a second 3-round mock draft that the chat decides each pick.
Love it.
Or Peter buys each pick. I'm open to either one.
Or Peter just buys YouTube and then shuts down our content. Then he reopens, just making the content for him and him alone. That's what I think is probably the final step of all of this.
Yeah. Done.
But I actually do really like your idea of for Fix Your Franchises. If you guys are new, we take a deep dive into these teams. So we'll look at, how we got here. We'll look at ownership. We'll look at the front office. We'll look at the depth chart. We'll look at, who's playing well on the team, who's not, who they're going to re-sign, who's going to be on the team next year. A full offseason plan for them, who they're going to hire as head coach, all that stuff. And then at the end of the show, we do a 3-round mock draft for whatever that team is. Connor and I will do our own, but now that we're doing it live, we'll do one with you guys as well, which will be a ton of fun. That's next Monday, but make sure you guys tune in on Wednesday, because that is going to be a stock watch episode. And we did the big board episode last week, so it's been a couple of weeks since we've done a stock watch. We'll have the QB carousel. We'll have all that good stuff. But we'll talk about so many other prospects that we've watched over the last couple of weeks who are moving up and down the board, whichever direction, and the guys that are honestly making the biggest headlines. For Connor Rogers, I'm Trevor Sikkema. For Tyler Cook as well behind the glass. I'm saying thank you guys so much for watching and listening to another episode of the NFL Stock Exchange podcast. We will see you guys on Wednesday.